Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be. Welcome to An Appropriate Amount of Soup with myself, Shannon Davis, with my good friend Dom Shorthouse. Say hi, Dom.
Hi, Dom.
Oh, I knew he was going to do it. He has
Had
to
to
do it.
do it.
He's got contractual obligations that force him to do that one.
As a dad, I have to crack a certain amount of dad jokes every day.
There is a quota. Otherwise, you get sent to the gulag.
Well, then they take your kids away.
Yep. You don't want that unless you need sleep and a weekend away or something.
Yeah, man, that actually might be a good idea.
Do you get them back after?
I don't think so, but it still might be worth it.
All right. But anyway, on this podcast, we talk about novels we're writing, novels we're reading, and dumb ideas about other people's novels. Don't know if I said it or not, but we are called An Appropriate Amount of Soup. You may have guessed that by you clicked a link or you clicked on us, so you should probably know the title of what you clicked on. But if you didn't, thanks for just randomly clicking away on the internet till you found us.
Maybe they just saw the promo picture you put up and thought, "Oh, nightmare fuel. Let's click on that and see where it takes us."
Yeah, I need to hire an artist. Yeah, but it's what we got for now. We'll get something proper later on, I promise. One of these days.
When we make the big bucks.
If you want to send us your art for our thumbnails, please do so. I'll use it. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, we pretty much would. Yeah. When we hit the big time, we'll employ some big time marketing person. But for now, it's just us. And by us, I mean Shannon.
We're at the big time, aren't we? This feels pretty big.
I don't know. I guess it depends how you define it.
Yeah.
If you define it as two rubes making a podcast because it makes them giggle, we're as big as it gets.
Hey, we're getting triple R listener numbers, I think, at this point.
Triple R, woo! For those who don't live in Melbourne, Triple R is what is it?
Community radio.
Community radio station. We're not reaching Triple R. We're probably getting 3CR numbers.
I'll take it.
Yep.
And the reason we draw those numbers is because we have interesting topics like the development of characters in fiction. Hey, Dom, do you want to share some of your thoughts on character development?
I find it really hard. That's why I want it to be a topic, just because I really just want to steal all your ideas. I find almost all of my protagonists are just me, but cooler. And all of the other characters are like me. Yep, cool. Pretty much. But with different skins on them. It's something I do struggle to differentiate between characters, like in terms of personality and motivation.
Mm-hmm. Do you sit down and actually write out your character before dropping them in, or do you just make it up as you go?
I just see how they respond, which makes them reasonably inconsistent most of the time.
Right. And then what, go back and clean it up in post?
Nah, just try and get it published and wonder why no one wants to publish it.
Just have an inconsistent character.
Yeah, just have garbage characters. I think that is probably the greatest weakness of my writing. I think my conversations are good. I think my prose and descriptions are getting better. But having deep, interesting characters who actually have an arc that isn't my life, that I struggle with.
I like the approach that I heard it for voice acting. Someone said if you want to create a unique voice for your character, do an impression of someone you can't do an impression of. And that way you're locked into this voice and this manner set, but because you're getting it wrong, no one can work out what the hell it is. So you've created something new. And I do the same with, in one of the books, just because it's all topical and everyone was doing it.
Okay.
One of my characters is he's Donald Trump, basically. But done very poorly. Like, it's not a good Donald Trump. So the way he talks, some of his mannerisms, I'm picturing how I hear Trump in press conferences and things. But it's not being expressed well on the page, which makes the character a unique character. And I do that for a lot of my different characters. I'll pick out different celebrities or different people I've seen in the media or people I know in real life and use some of their traits.
That's the only other thing I've ever been able to do is base characters on really good friends that I know really well and know how they would respond. But they can get quite annoyed at that.
Yeah, so you have to do it in a way that they can't work out that it's them.
Yeah, and I like
And
to
then
think, yeah, most people are quite not unself-aware. So they read it and go, wow, that character's really annoying. And you're like, that's you, loser.
Yeah. But I think also when you're writing the story, characters find their own like unique character. They find themselves.
Yeah. And I think I'm probably speaking a little too harshly about myself, about my writing, because I believe that mostly they work themselves out. And because I have a role-playing background, when I make characters to play in a game or non-player characters to be part of a game, I usually have a pretty clear sketch of them and then let them work themselves out. So I find it doesn't take a great deal of direction at the beginning, to let someone write themselves, basically.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and it kind of just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's good writing, but that's kind of what I do.
But then that's where you need to go back in the edit and make it consistent.
Yeah.
So once you work out who the character is in chapter 30, you can clean them up.
Well, when you think about the book we wrote together, the Darius and Henry, who are the main characters, they do have distinct personalities. I think they ended up coming out of the page, so to speak, and sort of living out of their backstory.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had elements of those characteristics to start with. Like Henry was always tenacious.
Yeah.
And remains that way throughout. Then he gets
Darius
a bit...
is always overwhelmed.
Yeah. He's the author insert.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what's happening, man. He was you and me.
Yep. Yeah. My issue I have is that with character descriptions, I will make my character, in chapter 1, he's a tall man with a big beard, and by chapter 3, I talk about how short and stubby he is because I have and I was.
He went on a diet.
Well, I have. It's called Aphantasia, which is
what a Disney movie.
Google AI has, with Mickey Mouse, and he chops up some broomsticks, and then. But what happens is he can't visualize things. So I have that.
Do you have that? That is fascinating because I've read a lot about that. I am the absolute opposite of that. I see everything I think.
It became apparent to me in high school because I would make like inappropriate jokes and then have people be like, oh no, don't put that image in my head. I'm like, what do you mean? Really? You're picturing this? They're just words, dude.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's something I've actually listened to a podcast that not too long ago about playing Dungeons and Dragons with people with aphantasia. And because it's all description, they just sit there going, what? But how big is the room? But what? Where is the chest? And because you can't picture it in your head, it requires a lot more drawing things.
Well, you can sort of, I wouldn't have that. I don't think I'd have that experience. Like I can work out from the description. I'm just not seeing an image of it. I'm like, I'm understanding a description of it. I can understand it without visually seeing it. The way I try to explain, and I think it works in my favor for something like doing a podcast where I think in word association. So if someone tells me to picture a tree, I don't picture a tree. I go tree, bark, brown, leaves, green, and I'm doing that 1,000 items in a couple of seconds.
Table.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to do it.
No, I'm trying to get you.
No, it's not happening.
No, I want it to happen.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. How about me?
Dom. Happy, sad, angry. Flipping me off on camera. These are all just...
Okay.
Yeah. So it works. It can work for writing. It can also be a hindrance because you're trying to picture the scene because you know that not everyone else thinks that way. Yep. So you want to create a picture for the audience, but you're not having it. So you got to kind of guess.
Okay.
It works.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Get there.
I think it's really interesting, especially talking about writing, that neurodivergence or what is it? Neurotypical is the expectation that we are able to communicate in a way that's relevant to everyone. But people think so wildly differently that the way, I might write, something and someone picks it up and goes, wow, what a fantastic description. And someone, else just looks at the world differently and goes, that's hot garbage. I think it's really interesting. And when you can write a character who's neurodivergent, and I mean that in the broadest possible sense, like not boring Tony that you went to high school with who just, thought that way. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, Tony. And trying to, I find it really interesting. I don't know. Have you read The Expanse or watched the show?
I think I've seen like an episode of the show. I haven't read any of the books.
There's a character in that called Amos who is, I think he's either a psychopath or a sociopath. Like he actually has those traits, but he's a good guy. He's aware of how broken he is, and it's so well written that I wonder if one of the authors actually knew someone. Because, when we think psychopath or sociopath, it's like, oh, you're a serial killer or something. But this is just a guy who looks at the world almost completely emotionlessly. Like and to write something like that, well, I have real respect for people who can do that. I'm doing it. Next story, psychopath.
Yeah, and it'd be challenging as well because you obviously don't want to offend. I have an autistic son, and I don't know if I'd put an autistic character in because I'd want to do a lot of research before I do. Even though I've got that experience of living with someone with autism, I don't have that experience or that perspective. So I'd be very concerned that I'm going to write something that someone's going to be offended by. I'm going to share some misinformation about what the experience is like because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
But the counter to that is, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, autism is a spectrum, much like porridge. And so it's not a single universal experience if you're, of autism or ADHD or I'm just trying to think, like that. We as a species, are far from typical. Neurotypical is almost a misnomer. It's just the people who design society now get to go, this is typical, and the rest of you are freaks.
Yeah. And apart from my aphantasia, apparently, again, I don't know if that's what it's called. That's what Google AI says. I'm largely.
I have a Moana.
Is that where you really like the soundtrack to Moana?
No, it's like aphantasia, except I hear everything as song.
Yeah. That's cool. Is that? I assume you're making this up.
Yeah, totally making it up. I just put an A in front of a Disney movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were doing.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'm neurotypical largely. So I think that I'm team neurotypical, baby.
Yeah.
You're all freaks.
You're not.
No?
Yeah. No, you're
you
not.
messed up in a whole new gamut of ways.
So, Shannon, what do we do on this podcast apart from
know anymore? I don't know.
Judge society harshly?
Yeah, like normally we do the ha-has, but today we show we have depth of character. Look at that.
I love that. Yeah.
Hey, we've got smart brains and things, and we know what we're on about. But we take someone's story.
Yeah.
And we summarize the first chapter of that person's story. And then we just kind of work it out from there because we're busy people. We don't have time to sit down and read whole novels. Today we're going to be looking at a book called Willing Prey by the author Miles Taylor. Now, this book, it's up on Wattpad. It's got an 18 plus reading on it. Now, I have received assurance from Miles that it is not just pure smut. It's a character-driven piece, but we'll be the judges of that when we come up with the rest of the story. If we turn it into smart, we turn it into smart, Miles. You're just gonna have to deal with that.
I'm doing it.
So Miles is a 26-year-old Slavic writer/artist with an unhinged amount of stories in their head, currently recovering from a 5-year writer's block. They haven't been posting in a long time, but after a lot of training and writing for themselves, they have finally gained the courage to post on Wattpad again. Good. If you're the creative sort, just create and work the rest out later. They really appreciate everyone giving them a chance as a writer, starting back up again. Oh, and then they put a little love heart. The greater than symbol with a 3. That's really nice. It's not an emoji. That's ASCII? Whatever. Who cares?
ASCII.
ASCII. All right, so let's see what they're writing about. So our main character, Gerald, is dreaming of a beautiful woman named Lisbeth when he is rudely awoken. We discover that he is a veteran colonel turned Spirit Academy homeroom teacher. We have 17 students and 2 teachers sharing a house. I've got in brackets here, that's a terrible idea. If you're an educator, don't live with the students.
Or just a student.
Yeah, if you're a student. Just don't do that. Now we find out that the teenagers, the students, have anamucin in their blood, which amplifies emotions or manifests as supernatural abilities. Now, I kept reading that as animus when I was reading the story, but apparently there is no Jungian psychology in this. Or there might be later.
What?
We'll put it in. All right, everything's okay. There's a woman yelling at the student, so Gerald doesn't have to go and deal with whatever the noise was that rudely awoke him. We find out he has a thing against touching things with his bare hands. He wears gloves. This is due to his actions on Volnir during a war. He feels tainted by his sins and he doesn't want to corrupt the world with his physical touch. So he's got some trauma going on there. There's a head medic, Leon Acrates. What's the guy from June?
Paul Atreides?
Not Acrates. Close enough. Maybe, cousins. He's warned him against wearing gloves all the time. He might even get dermatitis. I put that in. It doesn't say dermatitis, but you would if you wore gloves all day, every day. So you'll need some, like a steroid cream, I guess. But don't worry about it. Leon abuses drugs. So, he comes to work high. Let's not listen to what he has to say. We discover the yelling woman from earlier is named Cece. Gerald doesn't much care for her. We discover that she's like a witch. She's in her 50s, but she looks younger than the 30-something Gerald due to magic artifacts that she keeps in her room. Gerald believes that they are cursed and would kill him if he were to touch them, or he's joking about that. What he says it. I don't know how serious he is. We discover that all the ruckus was because a student has broken a toilet. Cece yells a lot. Gerald walks away while she's yelling. Then Gerald runs into Jenny, a shy student who speaks quietly with Gerald, asking if he can fix her rice cooker. He pats her on the head. And again, as a teacher, don't pat your students on the head.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's a doorway for trouble. Nicholas, another student, arrives as exposition explaining that after the students graduate, they will be sent to war, that they're all in these factions and all the factions do different things. Nicholas seems like a jerk. It's revealed that another student, Bastian, was attempting to use his spirit powers, which led to him becoming out of control. And Nicholas had used this opportunity to push him into the toilet, which is why it broke. This Nicholas character is being a jerk this whole time. He's making fun of Jenny. He's making fun of Bastian. Gerald's philosophy is that students need to experience arguments and fights to forge their character, so he doesn't really reprimand Nicholas. Again, not good teaching advice. But he does instruct the boys to come with him and fix the toilet. We discover that while Gerald with an L. While he does love the students, we discover that Gerald hates his job. Measly pay and loneliness. He remembers Lisbeth again, but she's gone. We assume that she's passed away. Gerald goes off to hide away in his office. He tells people that he's got stuff to do, but he doesn't really. He's just going to slack off for a bit. He considers digging into his stash of something. It's not defined. Then a woman enters his room. For a moment, he thinks it's Lisbeth, but then he realizes that she looks nothing like her, which is where we end chapter 1. Dom, where do we start chapter 2?
3 years later. And they're married, and it went really well. No. The next chapter starts in that moment where this woman, this dame with legs all the way down to the ground.
We're not having a dame come into the office again. We've done the dame. Dame's been done.
So this isn't a dame. This is an angry mother.
Oh, that's nice.
This isn't Nicholas, one of the students?
Yeah, Nicholas is the jerk.
Yeah, this is Nicholas's mother. And she comes in and she says, I've just had enough of you bullying Nicholas. And he calls me because I've decided it's a boarding school, right?
Yeah.
He calls me and he tells me you're constantly picking on him and I've had enough of it. And this really hits home for me as an educator. And some parents are woefully unaware of how jerky their kids are. And this is the case with Marcy, Nicholas's mother. She comes in and Gerald is like, I don't pick on your son. And how did you get in here? And it turns out that she talked to, is it Genevieve? What's the short lady who's a witch? What's her name?
Cece.
Cece. She talked to Cece. Cece, still smarting from the argument, went, oh yeah, you can just go straight in and talk to him. So anyway,
Cece.
she unleashes this tirade about her son and how he's clearly picking on her and how her son's an angel. And he tries to explain that, in fact, Nicholas is a terrible human being, is a bully. But Marcy won't listen at all. And after some time, she storms out saying, that's it. I'm going to your boss. I'm going to go to the principal. I'm going to have you reported. I'm going to destroy your career. And as she leaves, two things go through Gerald's head. One, that he's got a stash and he is actually going to nip outside and get high AF. And the other is that Marcy's butt looks really good in the skirt she's wearing. We're going into this adult fiction. There's mention of butts. Maybe there'll be a mention of later.
There won't be. No, we're too squeaky clean for that. In fact, I'm going to censor that when we get to that.
There'll be a mention of beep. And so she leaves. He reaches into his drawer. He pulls out his stash of space doobies. And he's just about to sneak outside when someone else bursts into his room. Who is it, Shannon?
Some guy,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Joe. Just this guy. Joe. We love Joe.
Yeah. Joe's been brought on by Cece as a groundskeeper.
Oh, nice.
And general, just, schools have the handyman type that does everything. It's not a ground, it's just the every job maintenance in general. So she's done that, but we know from earlier that Gerald, that's one of his favorite parts of the job. He takes care of the building and everything.
The man loves fixing toilets.
Yeah, he loves it. Everyone who doesn't love fixing a toilet. You get the porcelain and the plunger and other things that you do when you fix a toilet. I don't know. Have you fixed a toilet before?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
You need the floater and the flipper and the whiz bang and the Jilly Willy. Did you know I once had to pull a toilet out and put another toilet in? And I don't know if this was in the States. I don't know if it's the case in Australia. Man, you have to use a lot of goopy stuff.
Oh, toilet goop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have.
All you have is toilet goop?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joe also has a lot of toilet goop, and he's there to fix the toilet. And we have Gerald, who's just like, "What? Why are you bringing someone else in? I was gonna do that, and I was gonna get these boys to come and help." And then you can hear Marcy in the background just be, "You're not gonna get my boy to fix the toilet. He's gonna be a general in the military thing." And he's like, "Oh, God, shut up." And then he's like, "Hey, Joe, look, I appreciate that you're here to work and that you're not really a part of this, but I'm going to need you to leave." And Joe's like, No. If I've been brought here, it's call out fee, standard. you are paying for this job, whether or not you actually, utilize my services. So let's go ahead and it just becomes, it's just a thing, it's one of those, just everyone's being really frustrating. So Gerald, just, all right, fine, we'll go together. And he goes up and he gets Nicholas and he gets Bastian, and he's got a class to teach in about 30 minutes, but whatever. And he goes up to the toilet and he shows Joe, all right, at least take these boys and, they broke it, so get them to help you fix it. They can run, pieces and parts for you. And Joe's not playing. He's like, no, I'm here to fix the toilet. I'm not here to educate your students at your school. So Joe, be helpful. Just come on, Joe, be cool. For once in your life.
Yeah, Joe.
And he's like, no, I'm not going to deal with students. That's not my job. That's your job. You're a teacher. So fine. Gerald goes back down. He goes to the classroom. He brings the boys with him because they're in this class that he's teaching. He's going to be teaching history. Marcy is sitting at the back of the classroom when he gets in there. What are you doing? Go away. But she doesn't feel like their conversation has resolved appropriately. And she's still upset with the way that her son is being treated. So she's there to talk more to Gerald. But he's like, I've got a class I can't, we can organize a time. Let's book in a time. And she's like, no, we're going to discuss this now. It's like, no, I've got a class. I need you to go. And that's when the principal walks in. And the principal, first of all, asks him, did you sign off on a maintenance worker to come in? Isn't that part of your role? And secondly, why have we got one of our students' parents in the classroom during learning time? Dom, how does he respond to that?
Badly. Very badly. He's still got a space doobie in his pocket. And it's all he can think about is that he's had enough of this crap. And his internal dialogue goes something like this. I was a frickin' general. I led thousands of troops into battle, to their death. I killed bazillions of aliens. Not all of the guys. Admittedly, not all of them died. Like Frank. Remember Frank? Frank was great. And he made it through. Yeah, he was just maimed. Now, the nature of space soldiering and space battle suits being what it is you are basically unscathed or dead. There's no in between.
Right.
And so he's thinking this, and he's like, and now I have to deal with my pissant principal and this absolute wench of a woman who admittedly has a great looking butt.
We'll send to that.
Yep. And awesome boobs. And at this moment, as he's thinking this in his internal dialogue, he realizes it might not be internal. Because all the students and the principal and Marcy are just looking at him. And Nicholas
took a drink right before he said that.
Leaps up and goes, "What did you just say about my mum?" And the principal has gone beat-faced, absolutely, and is like, "Gerald, to my office, now. I'm going to send someone else to run this class." So Gerald, as he goes out, he winks at Marcy. And she just looks disgusted. She hates this guy. He's clearly some sort of space pervert, ex-army space pervert. And he goes down to the principal's office. And does the principal have a name yet?
Yeah, the principal's another sugar mama type. Her name is Annie.
Annie. So he can't help but think about Annie's age as they're walking. Because like Cece, she's probably a witch and has probably been drinking the blood of students for many years to stay young. Because she acts like she's in her 70s, but she looks like a well-kept 35-year-old, shall we say.
Sure.
And they go and they sit down, we shall say, and we do. And she goes, "Look, Gerald, Jerry, do you mind if I call you Jerry?" And he says, "Yeah, I do mind, actually." She goes, "Okay, I won't call you Jerry then, I'll call you Gerald." And he goes, "That's better, that's my name." If you want to call me anything else, you can call me General Gerald. And she goes, well, that's some confusing alliteration. And he's like, yeah, it did get confusing. A lot of people died on the battlefield screaming General Gerald and getting tongue-tied and not being able to say it fast enough. And then alien laser strikes from orbital platforms,
Every time.
vaporize them. Happens more than you think. Anyway, you called me in here for a reason. What was it? She goes, what do you mean, what was it? It was because you just remarked loudly in front of a class on one of the students' mother's butt and boobs. I don't believe I have to tell you this is inappropriate. And he goes, yeah, you may have a point there. And she goes, look, General Gerald, you got this job because you had a stellar war record. And the war with what were they called? The Volgates or something? The Volpids?
It was with Voltron.
With Voltron. The war with Voltron. And you were an amazing general. In fact, you went so far as to defeat the Voltron leader, Megatron, in hand-to-hand combat. And that's your field marshal, so the general above General Gerald, is a generous supporter of the school and asked that you be given a job.
Yep.
And we understand that, there's a lot of trauma. We understand that what happened to Liz, and as soon as she mentions it, he just his face gets so dark and angry, and he's like, what did Will Smith say to, was it Chris Rock when he slapped her?
I'll keep my wife's name out of your...
Yeah, that's what he says. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth, and leaps across the table and slaps her in the face. And the Academy security appears from nowhere and drags him away. No, he doesn't, but he imagines that, and thankfully doesn't actually act on it, which is good for him.
Well, because like the Will Smith thing, if he did, the Academy security would not act at all. There would be none. He would just get to go sit back down and win an Oscar later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she goes, look, we knew you were going to be hard work. We knew you were probably psychologically unsuited to this job. But we wanted to give you a chance. I just don't know if I can keep you on. If Marcy puts in a complaint, and honestly, she seems like the kind of Karen who would, then there's no way you can keep me. We can keep you on. In fact, right now, you're on administrative leave.
Uh-oh.
Take a week. I know you've got savings. Go stay in a hotel somewhere, and get yourself straight. We'll be in touch. And he looks at her, and he goes, I'm on administrative leave. She goes, yeah. Like now? She goes, yeah. And he goes, sick. And he pulls out his space doobie and just lights it right in front of her. Takes a big drag and goes, I'll see myself out. And in fact, does see himself out. So now he's standing in front of the school, smoking a space doobie. And he's on administrative leave. He's possibly going to lose his job if Marcy says anything. And then he realizes. What does he realize?
Oh, see, I had somewhere for the story to go, but then you said, what does he realize?
He realizes that
he wasn't going to realize anything in
go.
my story. He was just going to do stuff. What can he realize? He realizes, you know what, Annie, yeah, she was smoking too. What? In fact, all of the staff here are, staff and parents are all quite physically attractive. Their personalities are bad. They're bad people. But physically, that's at the end of the day, that's really what's important.
And really, isn't that what matters?
Beauty's only skin deep, and the skin is the important part.
And personality is not even skin deep. It's actually just your imagination.
You can just ignore what people say.
Yeah, totally.
But you can't ignore what they look like.
They say don't judge a book by its cover, but do judge a person by how they look.
100%.
100%.
So he's thinking about that while Joe runs out, and he's like, have you seen, I sent one of your students down to get an S bend for me to install into this, contraption, and then Gerald's trying to work out, would you have an S bend or would it be a U bend? Because I don't really do plumbing. But then he goes, wait, hold on, my students didn't go with you. And he's like, oh, the 30-something-year-old student that yells a lot. Oh, that's actually one of the teachers, and she's in her 50s, I believe, but she just looks like she's in her 30s because of witchcraft. And Joe's like, oh, that's good because, this is an erotica and we made passionate love. And then he goes, all right, well, I'll just go and find the bend for myself.
Beep that out. That's smut. We don't do that.
Yeah, this is going to get an explicit rating on the old socials. That's all right. We can have one. And then he goes, wait, hold on. Did I hear what I think I heard? Did they do the that's I'll add a beep here as well so you can work it out from the context clues. And so Gerald goes to find Cece. He's on administrative leave and he knows that he needs to leave the office, but he can't leave the juicy goss, right? He's got to go find out
what's the tea.
Yeah, exactly. So he's walking around the campus to try and find out what's going on. And he goes up to the toilet block and he can't find Cece anywhere. He goes to her office and she is there in her office. And he looks at her and goes, hey, Cece. And she just starts yelling at him, right, immediately, like, you have no control over your students. I heard about what you said to one of the parents. You are this, you are that. And she's not very, amicable. He says, well, you know what I heard about you? He says this to her. And
The goss.
And
yeah.
like, she just shuts up immediately, like, what? I heard you and Joe up in the toilet block.
Bow chicka bow wow.
We're going to have to censor those sound effects as well, Dom.
Yeah, they're very smutty sound effects. I wish I had a bass guitar.
She's like, what? How dare you accuse me of something like that? Well, this is what I have heard. She's like, firstly, are you high? I was like, a little bit. And secondly, I have not even been up in those toilet blocks at all today, apart from this morning when the kids were smashing things. I was yelling at children, but following that, I haven't been back up there. I called Joe on the holophone because we're in the future and you have to change the words of basic utilities. But apart from that, I've not spoken to anyone. How dare you? And Gerald's like, what is going on here? So he's got to go for himself. He goes up to the toilet block. He opens the door. And who does he see but Marcy? Marcy in the toilet block, looking bedraggled. What happens next, Dom?
So he walks in and his first thought as he walks in is like, yeah, I should have thought this was the ladies' toilet. And should have put a sign on the door. And he's thinking this, like, he's professional. He's a professional kind of guy. And then he's thinking, oh, I don't actually work here. I'm on administrative leave. And this is the woman who's going to get me fired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super high. And all this comes together, and all he remembers is the last thing he thought, which is, I'm super high. And he starts giggling. And Marcy's like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And he just can't help himself. He's laughing. He's laughing harder. He's crouching, and he's trying to, and he's just getting a word. I'm here. I'm meant to be. Oh my God. Oh, I'm on. Oh gosh. And she just hears, you're on. And she's like, you're on drugs, aren't you? I'm going to get you fired. And he just thinks that's so funny. He's laughing harder and harder and harder. And she's standing over him as he like crouches on the ground laughing. And she's like, in that, arms out, hands on hips, arms out, tapping her shoe on the ground as he looks up at her. And she's super angry, and then his laughter is a little contagious. And just a little smile trickles up her face. Just a little one. And then it gets a bit bigger. And finally, Gerald, he takes a breath. He stops laughing. And she goes, "Did you mean what you said about my butt?" And she's being a little flirtatious. You know, she's a middle-aged housewife. Her husband is some space banker that she never sees. She's pretty neglected. And, you know, no one said she had a nice butt for a while. But he just thinks that's so funny. He can't help himself. Oh my goodness. So he starts laughing harder. And this time she joins in. And they're both sitting on the floor just cackling, laughing their asses off. And that's the moment that Cece and what's the principal's name again?
Annie.
Cece and Annie come in to see what the fuss is in the toilet. And they see the two of them and they're like, "General Jerry, what are you doing? You're on administrative leave. You shouldn't even be on the premises." And Mrs. Scoliopandara.
Great, I'm going to be able to remember that surname. Thanks for that, Dom.
Yeah, make up the one. Oh, it's hyphenated. Do you want to hear the next bit?
No.
Okay. So Mrs. Cece Scoliopandara Jones, what are you doing here? This is so unprofessional. You both need to leave immediately. And so they leave and they're laughing. They're laughing the whole way. They laugh their way out. They get kicked out. The door closes, slammed on their backs. And as they get kicked out unceremoniously, and General Jerry sort of stumbles, he finds the roach of his space doobie and just immediately lights it up again. And Cece looks at him and goes, "Wow, you really are an incorrigible piece of crap, aren't you? Like, you probably shouldn't be teaching."
No,
and
yet he's a terrible person.
I find you fascinating. Can I buy you a drink? And where do they go for a drink, Shannon?
So Marcy Scoliosis and Gerald
Jones
have a summer romp. It goes for 3 books, and then following,
and that's all the adult content.
Yeah, and then following that, the series takes a dark turn, because Gerald realizes that he can't go back to the school. Like that door is closed, and the only skill set that he really has is military. So and he's left Marcy at this point. They've separated.
Oh well,
that did good.
It was good.
Thing.
It was good for a bit.
Yeah, well, it cost her marriage, and she doesn't see Nicholas anymore. He lives with his dad, so it wasn't great. But you know,
I don't know. We've probably done her a favor, really, because her son was a total piece of crap.
And look, it's attractive people doing attractive people things. That's just what it is. Yeah, they live a different life to us.
They do.
Yeah. So following all that, Gerald goes back to the enlistment officer, and he talks to them, and I'm aware that I was discharged honorably for my mental health, but I believe that I'm now in a position where I'm ready to return. And he goes through a series of testing. That's another 2 novels of readmission into the military. But eventually there's some shenanigans that get him in. He has to fudge some paperwork and lie, because he's really not. I'm in a position he's still wearing his gloves. He can't touch things still, and he's still dealing with a lot of trauma.
About that. That's important.
Yeah, I'm bringing that back. That's why I said what I said.
That's probably
magic,
why.
Dom.
It's probably why him and Marcy broke up.
Couldn't touch her.
Couldn't touch it. Used to sing MC Hammer to her all the time.
Yeah. Well,
I want to make out, but can't touch this.
Do. And he wears parachute pants as well, which was just confusing.
They're back.
Are they?
In the future. Oh, in the future.
Oh, okay. In this. All right.
Yeah.
I was hoping now. I want some. Send in parachute pants to amountofsoup@gmail.com. I'll wear them if you send them in.
Or look at our Shopify store and get Amount of Soup parachute pants as merch.
Can we?
We could. That would be pretty amazing.
We might sell one pair. How much will it cost us to manufacture?
Nothing. It's called drop shipping.
Hell yeah.
It's a whole thing.
All right. We'll talk about that off air. So anyway, he manages to sneak his way back into the military, parachute pants and all. And he gets in, and on his first day back, because he comes back in as a general, and he goes and he meets the forces that are assembling. And what he discovers is, and he should have clicked because he had this time in the academy, he's got these children that are moving into these different houses, being taught the ways of their military career, learning their special powers, which we haven't touched on yet at all.
Yep, that either.
Their spirit powers, their magic fighting abilities. But once they have graduated, they're still like 15, 16 years old, moving into active combat. And he didn't realize, but is humanity losing the war? Are we up to our Volkstrom stages of military? Like, are we sending children to war now? Are our generals and our military forces so weakened that we need to be graduating these children? And while he's having that thought, he and a group of 15 to 17-year-olds and a couple like 60 plus, but they all look 30 and super hot with like great racks. They get onto a space shuttle and they go to a planet within their same solar system because that would warrant a space shuttle, not a spaceship.
Not a spaceship.
I'm here to learn, Dom. And they go to the planet within their solar system that is currently experiencing conflict with robot alien crabs. Dom, over to you.
So yeah, the interesting thing, I don't know if you mentioned it, that the 17 students, the two babes with racks that are actually 60 and being rejuvenated, they didn't realize they were going to war. They thought they were going on an excursion to the space equivalent of Fun Fields.
Oh, that's fun.
Or Gumbaya Park.
It's got fun in the name, so that's how you know it's going to be fun.
Gumbaya Park? Is
Gumbaya World, baby.
It's Gumbaya World now?
Oh, they've got roller coasters now. When you come to Australia, I'll take you. It's
do you remember
quite good.
It is? Is Leisureland Fair around?
I don't know. It might be. I've never heard of it. Wobby's World shut down.
Oh, I went to Wobby. I've been to Wobby's World. I went there for my 10th birthday party.
Sorry to hear that.
Do you remember the D-Generation, The Late Show?
Yeah, Tony Martin and...
Yeah. They did a series of Piss Week World, and I swear it was based on Wobby's World. Like, in the mid-80s, it was Melbourne's only fun park, and so... it didn't have to be very good, and it wasn't. It really wasn't.
It was trying its best.
I don't know that it was, honestly. Like, yeah. Anyway,
better
so
than
they thought
World. No roller coasters.
Carpet World's very disappointing.
No, it's just carpet.
Rolls of carpet, not rolls of coasting.
And in fact, Degeneration. I stole that joke from a Tony Martin podcast. Listen to Sizzletown.
Oh,
it's
did
better
you?
than this. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Okay, so they're totally unprepared for what happens. They go on the shuttle, and the shuttle actually gets kidnapped by an alien spaceship that sucks them away and takes them into another solar system where the aliens are. Now, this takes a while, although time dilation and everything, it doesn't actually, and it's not going to matter when they get back to our solar system and Earth. But it takes a while, and there's a lot of smut in these chapters.
Yeah, nothing but.
There's a bunch of high school kids, there's a bunch of hot 70-year-olds, and there's General Gerald. Listener, use your imagination.
No. The high school kids are underage, so they're not involved. They're just...
they're involved with each other. Oh, don't pretend high school kids aren't making out non-stop.
Well, not in fiction. You get in trouble.
Well, it's off camera. It's
Oh, okay.
implied.
It's implied.
Okay.
Smart.
It's implied smart. Meanwhile, General Gerald, he finally cracks it in every way imaginable with Annie and Cece. And anyway, they get to this other solar system and there's a malfunction.
Uh-oh.
The spaceship that grabbed their space shuttle, something goes wrong clearly. And General Gerald, being a general, having been in spaceships, he knows the sounds. He's like, this is our chance. And he looks at the kids and he's like, right, you've all got moxie. You've all got chutzpah. But you know what you've got that really matters? And they're like, what? The ability to have wild off-screen sex for the last 3 chapters? And he's like, no, you've got spirit. Dun, dun, dun. He's like, we're going to have to use your powers. What can you do? First kid, it's like, I can run really fast. Second kid, he's like, I can literally eat anything. Third kid, what's the third kid's powers? Or do you want to just give us a vague overview of the next 15 kids?
So the third kid can, like, you know, magic eye drawings?
Yep, I do.
Like, can just get the image instantly.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't even have to go cross-eyed.
Oh, wow. Wow, that would be so cool.
Right? And then the fourth one doesn't have a hand. Just a hand fell off.
That's a superpower?
Like, no, but they wanted him to feel good. So they said, oh, that's your power.
Old Stumpo.
Hey, don't start calling him Stumpo. That's not kind.
That's what the other kids call him.
Oh, that's his superhero name.
Stumpo. Okay.
And he bleeds on his enemies. Go on. Is it my turn or are you still going?
You're still going. Kevin, aka Stumpo. Yeah, keep going. Dig yourself deeper.
No, I won't. I'm going to bleep all of that out. So they've all have their powers and access to them, and that's good because they're now in live combat. Because the whole time dilation thing has ceased. They're on the planet. They've finished jaunting across the universe. Listen to the last episode, people. It'll make sense. And then, the giant robot aliens just wipe everyone out.
Okay.
Yeah, apart from Gerald.
Oh.
He manages to crawl away from the smouldering crab robot crater into a cave where he finds that there is another survivor.
Oh.
There is someone who's clearly been here for decades at this point. A beautiful woman, great rack, named Lisbeth. Yeah, she wasn't dead. She was lost on alien robot Crabland. Been all hot and smoltery.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to erotica, and then it ends.
Okay.
Unless you want to add more.
I think, it didn't go where I was expecting, just for once.
Well, don't want to use those spirit powers. Just kill off the entire cast.
Yeah, just kill them off. Okay, yep, the end.
Mm.
They're reunited, and I am
good.
going to add something. The epilogue. They get reunited, and the interesting thing is that the evil aliens, they're fine with this. They just make a little pocket world for the two of them to live in forever.
Oh.
And because of time dilation, what happens is they actually completely wipe out the human race. And General Jerry Gerald, and lovely Lizzie Elizabeth, they actually start the human race 2.0.
Oh, it's like an Adam and Eve situation.
It is.
Right.
The end. Fade to black.
Yeah, and that's wow. Hopefully they've got good genetics, otherwise that's going to be like a incest monstrosity factory.
Unfortunately, they didn't realize, but they're cousins.
Uh-oh. It just turns into like a, what's his name? Cronenberg disaster.
Yeah.
That's the sequel. All right.
Nice.
Soup ratings. What you thinking?
The first chapter had a lot of exposition. Like there was a lot hinted at, a lot of ideas, a lot of concepts. My apologies to Miles Taylor. It didn't really give us much to hold on to. So we may have gone off at a tangent. But I liked the world
Which we
building.
never do otherwise.
No, I know. Every other podcast, I think we've stayed really true to the genre and intention of the author. I'm going to go with a glass of bourbon whiskey, which is basically soup.
Right, yes.
Because, and the reason for this is I really wanted to turn it into a detective novel.
No,
when
you
she
weren't allowed
walked
to
in.
this time. We've done that.
But I wasn't allowed to, so this is my protest.
Right.
Bourbon soup, which is bourbon with ice.
Okay. With the cigarette in it. We've had that soup before.
Yeah, I have it far more often than I should. In fact, I'm having one right now.
I'll add the sound effect in post. Yeah. Yeah. You're getting all your vitamins in with your 10 cups of soup a day.
Yeah.
I thought so. Reading the first chapter does give a good. It's set up a good exposition of sort of the character dynamics and the personalities, and the impression that I got, because it talked about, and we didn't really cover it in our story, with the different like schoolhouses, which sort of there's like a classism element to it, which I also think was going to have the skill set, almost like a Harry Potter, like, you know, the different houses had different attributes. I feel like the author might be going down that pathway with it. Although I'm just guessing that's not fully, that's not explored more. That might be coming in later, or I might be completely wrong. I'm guessing.
Unlikely.
Yeah, I'm never correct about anything. So.
Oh no, I meant unlikely. You might be wrong. You're very good. You're very good at this, Shannon.
Thank you. I try. I try really hard.
Yeah.
And I've been cool.
Well,
try hard.
It comes out on our A+ 4.0 GPA when it comes to predicting how the stories go.
Yes. Yep.
That's it. That's all you.
Thanks, buddy. You bring a lot to the table.
Oh, thanks.
When I work out what it is, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's smut and things that get beeped out.
Yeah, you're and your great rack. You've got that going on too. That's good. And it's all about being physically attractive. So in that, I'm going to give this like I don't know if it's a thing that's really actually made, but like an oyster soup. Stop touching your chest on camera, Dom.
It's my great rack. See it.
We'll post pictures after.
Oyster soup?
Is that a thing? It's like clam chowder type situation?
It is now.
I'm trying to think of an aphrodisiac type soup.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you just hated Miles and wanted to offer him the worst soup you could think of.
No, something like a clam chowder, but like with oysters, because it's, and rhino horn. Yeah, but I don't think the real thing is as smutty as we're making it. Let's see what the actual blurb says. So, he was a veteran. She was a foreigner. We didn't really cover much about the whole foreigner thing.
Well, we wouldn't want to be accidentally racist about CC, but she probably was a foreigner.
Marcy or CC?
Marcy C.
Marcy went to CCC to see what she could see CC.
But Annie, could she see CC, was the bottom of CC. You know what I mean? CC's bottom.
Hey, we'll have to bleep that.
Yep.
He loved her. She could read his mind.
I think this is our first fail.
She could read his mind. We missed that. Hey. He wore gloves to protect others from his sins. She wore kimonos to reclaim her identity. We've dropped the ball.
Missed that. We really missed it this time.
We're going to have to end the podcast. We can't keep doing this anymore.
No, I want to hear nothing. Did we get anything right?
Willing Prey is a romance fantasy novel about a disillusioned ex-colonel, Gerald Aldrich.
We got that right.
finally feeling his dead heart beat again after getting unfairly yelled at by fearless geisha Robin Taylor. Kind of elements?
No.
Like,
Yeah. He definitely got yelled at.
yeah, unfairly.
And
let him do
later,
what he wants to do.
Yeah, and then later slept with the person who yelled at him.
Yeah.
So we got that right 3 times. He slept with 3 people who yelled at him. So good. Well done.
But instead of anger or annoyance, Gerald feels nothing but admiration for her fervour and personality. Okay. Robin isn't as impressed with him, but fully plans to take advantage of his legendary colonel status for her own benefit with the help of her mind-reading ability. The question is, will she find herself feeling more for him than she initially expected? Or will he go into space and fight a battle against crab alien robots with, the Hitler Youth?
Yeah. So, look, we didn't get it all. We missed a couple of things. And, I'd like to say this is podcast number 11.
It is.
I believe.
And the final edition.
The ultimate podcast. Not in a good way. And I think this may be the first podcast without a character called Ian in it. So something good came of it.
Yeah, we're growing.
We're growing.
I don't know into what, but we're growing into something.
Dear listener, thank you. It's
sorry.
Yeah, we're disappointed in ourselves. And we hope you can forgive us and tune in again in next episode where we promise to do better. Look, the good thing about this episode, even though it was hot garbage, sex sells.